What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NFL DFS contenders on FanDuel for Sunday Night Football, Bills and Chiefs. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter, at Josh Engleman, only place you're getting updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And let me know in the comments section who's your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for tonight's slate. Finally, shout out to Jock Market for being the presenting sponsor of this video. Use the promo code Awesemo when signing up at Jock Market. Get a little bit of extra cash on that first deposit, up to $50. Now, we round out the bottom of my top 10 with Harrison Butker, McCole Hardman, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Cole Beasley on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, we've got Emanuel Sanders. He's just 9K, projected for 10.5 fantasy points. They are slight underdogs, but there's a 56.5 point game total on this one. We're expecting a ton of fantasy points here. This is the number 9 offense at PFF going up against the number 22 defense. That's a pretty interesting matchup. Something I want to keep my eye on because the spot feels really good for the Bills. 4% chance that Emanuel Sanders can go for more than 25 fantasy points. Just a 2% chance he's the optimal MVP. I don't think we need to go too crazy there, but you get it back with a 38% likelihood that he's an optimal flex play. That gets him all the way to 40%. That gets him all the way to the number 5 spot. Next up at number 4, we've got Tyreek Hill. Technically speaking, in a tie for the 3rd spot. He's 13,500, projected for 17.5 fantasy points. The Chiefs, 3-point favorites, big total. The number 2 offense at PFF going up against the number 5 defense. So a much trickier matchup for Kansas City. 21% chance that Tyreek Hill scores 25 or more fantasy points. 12% likelihood he's optimal in the MVP spot, plus another 32% at the flex spot. 45% overall for Tyreek Hill. The price is honestly pretty good, but he's tied at the top. Well, tied at number 3 here with his counterpart on the opposite side. $12,500 Stefon Diggs shows up in that tie with Tyreek Hill, projected for a little over 15.5 fantasy points. Does get the better defensive matchup. Diggs, this is the number 22 defense, as I mentioned before, and Diggs gets to save $1,000 under Tyreek Hill. That's a lot of salary savings, really changes your lineup construction. 18% of the time he goes for more than 25, so a slightly lower ceiling than Tyreek Hill. 11% chance to be optimal in MVP, 34% at the flex. Add it all up, Diggs, Hill, they're basically the same play tonight. So make sure honestly, don't be afraid to use both of them. It'll look pretty good. But make sure you're aware of what else is in your lineup when you're picking one or the other. It's really easy to get to one of these guys, no matter what, every lineup you've got. So if you're doing that, if you've got one, like 45% for Diggs, 45% for Hill, more often than not, one of those two guys are going to be in the optimal. The odds of 0 of them being in the optimal are about 20-25%. It's not crazy if it happens, but you should be getting to one of these guys in pretty much everything you do. This one surprised me, but the price was monstrous. $17K for Pat Mahomes gets him into the number 2 spot. He's projected for 24.5 fantasy points. He does get the benefit of being a favorite in a monster total game. 48% of the time, Pat Mahomes scores 25 or more fantasy points. It's basically what he's projected for. There's a 33% chance he's the optimal MVP. That should not be all that shocking. You get another 25% at flex. It's just hard to put a 17K guy there without him being the highest scorer. You don't really find that efficiency all that easily. But either way, you want to have a lot of Pat Mahomes. I think you probably want to have a little bit more at the MVP spot, but it's not enough to get him to the number 1 spot. Now, before we get to that number 1 contender, one last reminder, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then follow me on Twitter, at Josh Engleman. It's the only place you're going to get updates to these sims as we get closer to lock. I want to know in the comments section who your favorite and least favorite of my contenders are, and I want you to go check out Jock Market and use that promo code Awesemo when you sign up to do so. Finally, at number 1, we've got Josh Allen. He's $16,500, so $500 cheaper than Pat Mahomes. Basically the same fantasy projection. You know what we're getting out of Allen. 50-50 shot to go for more than 25. You're seeing what saving $500 does because these guys are basically projected the same. But Josh Allen is in an optimal lineup 7% more than Mahomes because 33% likelihood he's the optimal MVP. That's basically the same. 32% at the flex. And that's where it gets interesting. That extra $500 is massive for Allen at the flex in comparison to Mahomes all the way up at $17K. So All that said, because of that salary savings, Josh Allen is the number one contender for tonight's FanDuel slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NFL DFS contenders on FanDuel for Sunday Night Football, Bills and Chiefs. Now, there's a DraftKings version of this video around here somewhere, so keep your eyes peeled. Good luck tonight, everybody. Win some money. I will be back again tomorrow for another edition of the Contenders.